before this video ends, I'm going to show you how one secret, just one, can move you from surviving on commission to thriving in total sales freedom. See, most people never really hear this or they never learn this, but once you see the results matrix, you'll never unsee it. You'll never go back to living like everyone else. In this video, I'm going to teach you the results matrix. This is a very specific framework that I learned and mastered over the last 20 years, over the last 2 decades. And so it's going to show you exactly what's stopping you from achieving the desired results that you would like to achieve. Now, here's the cool thing. I was in your position before. Like, I remember when I first started selling specifically real estate and sold new homes, I was a little bit arrogant. I was a little bit concerned about how people were perceiving me. Sometimes I even had a little bit of people pleaser in me, but all that stuff went away when I figured out this specific formula. So right now I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what I mean. So this is something that I wrote about in my book, The Mindset of a Sales Warrior. And this is something that we teach in all of our training programs, in our leadership sales coaching program, as well as our warrior selling program. And right now I want to share it with you completely for free because I believe it's going to absolutely change your life. All right, so let's do some drawing. Let's make it happen here. So, all right. So right now, have you ever wondered why you have 2 different salespeople and you got one salesperson that is making, we'll call it 9 to 5 money, and the other one is making, we'll call it worth it money. Now, I've always said that sales is the worst paying 9 to 5 job on the planet, and it's a big planet. Well, Jason, why is it the worst paying 9 to 5 job on the planet? And that's because if you're making 9 to 5 money in sales, that's pretty bad, right? You think about what is 9 to 5 money? It's like maybe 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 if you've been doing it a long time. But again, it's 9 to 5, right? So you come in, you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and you get your paycheck and you leave. But the reason why you're here right now is because you want to make worth it money. What's worth it money? Worth it money is worth the sacrifice of missing out on nights, weekends, and major holidays, right? You have to work when other people are not working. Now, specifically, if you're my real estate group right now, or you're selling for home builders, you're in new home sales, you also have to work weekends. And so if you think about it, like right now, there's not a lot of people that have to work weekends. So if you work weekends, that means that you're off on like Tuesday and Wednesday, or you're off on Thursday and Friday. It's kind of a weird time to be off. And so I remember when I got into new home sales, I had to find new friends because my friends all worked Monday through Friday and I worked the weekend. And so I had to go find new friends. And the only other people besides salespeople that have off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays are strippers, magicians, and priests. That's it. And so you got to go find some new friends. So it's a crazy kind of gig. So if you're not making worth it money, then right now we got to solve that problem for you. Now I get it. Again, when I first started selling, I was not making worth it money, but I was working outside of those 9 to 5 hours. And so this one formula, this results matrix I'm about to show you, is the thing that, again, completely changed my life, right? So this is the secret. I'm gonna walk you through it kind of one by one. Okay, so let's reverse engineer it. I think it's always important. The great Charles Munger said, whenever you wanna kind of figure out what's going on, let's kind of reverse engineer. So if we know we got 2 different people, we got a worth it salesperson and we got a 9 to 5 salesperson. And again, this is the result that they are doing, right? This is their result that they are doing, okay? So the question is, well, why is that? What's driving that? Well, we're gonna say it's the behaviors that they are doing. And you guys have been learning that. That's why one of my belief systems in life is that you're always one skill away from a pay raise. And so we've got to figure out, what is the behavior? Well, when I studied tens of thousands of salespeople around the world, what I've learned is it's very simple, is that the behavior that creates a worth it salesperson is different than a 9 to 5. And so the 9 to 5 salesperson has what kind of behaviors? They have reacting behaviors, reacting, versus the worth it salesperson has engaging behaviors, right? Engaging behaviors. So what does this mean? It means that as soon as they enter a sales conversation, they immediately take the lead. So if you're engaging, you're taking the lead. Versus if you're reacting, you're more of an order taker. You're more kind of waiting for the customer to kind of say what they're looking for. You might even ask questions like that, like how can I help you? So the how can I help you is definitely more of a reacting type question versus an engaging type question is, hey, there's 3 problems that our customers usually have whenever they approach us. It's either A, B, or C. So I'm curious, of those 3, what's your biggest problem right now that you're wanting to have solved that I could potentially help you with? See, that's an engaging question using a neuro-linguistic programming triple bind problem-based question versus, again, that reacting is, how can I help you? And of course the customers say, I'm just looking, right? And that ends up what happened. Okay, so if we want to not make 9 to 5 money, then we need to not react, we need to engage. All right, well, the question is like, well, what drives that, right? What do you think drives the behaviors? Well, it's the motivation. Motivation is what drives the behaviors, right? So we're gonna write motivation. Okay, so the motivation, I think of motivation as almost like your why, right? So why does someone kind of do these things? Well, from a motivation perspective, this person that's making worth it money has a want to motivation, and this person has a have to motivation. So again, right now, if you're someone who is only earning 9 to 5 money, then when it comes to mastering your CRM, when it comes to making those follow-up calls, when it comes to being assertive, when it comes to framing the selling message correctly, when it comes to engaging and asking things like, so what's your number 1 area of resistance holding you back from moving forward today? If I was to tell you to do that and you're on that 9 to 5 scale, then you're gonna be like, do I really have to? Like, do I really have to do that? So it's a have to motivation, which of course is gonna cause you to react. It's gonna cause you to hesitate. And of course the customer's now gonna take control. Versus if you have a want to motivation, you're like, of course I wanna do that. Of course I'm gonna make that happen. And of course that's gonna cause you to be proactive. Okay, so what's driving that motivation? What drives motivation is emotion. And emotion is everything, right? Emotion drives that motivation. One of the things I learned from Tony Robbins one time is that this is it. If you think about it's the feeling that we have or the meaning that we give something that really drives kind of why we do what we do, and why we do what we do drives what we do, which of course is that behavior, which ends up having the results, right? And so we have 2 different types of emotions that kind of rule us. And so if you're making 9 to 5 money, then right now you're in an emotion of fear. And if you're making worth it money, then you're in the emotion of freedom. And that's what we all want. I remember when I was in college, my professor said the number 1 desire of the human race that drives everything is we all are searching for that freedom. Now we're all moving away from that fear, but we're all moving towards that desire of freedom. And so if we are living a life of freedom and we have that emotion of freedom, then of course we want to do the things we need to do to be proactive. We engage, we're proactive, and of course we make that worth it money. Okay, so what drives emotions? What drives emotions are our beliefs. And the 2 types of beliefs, the polarity, the opposite beliefs, is that a 9 to 5 salesperson has external beliefs and a worth it salesperson has internal beliefs. All right, what is that, Jason? Well, what that means is that if I was to ask you right now, hey, I'm curious, what's stopping you from achieving 100% conversion rate? Or what's stopping you from doubling your sales over the next 30 days? Like right now, just think about me asking that question. If your immediate response is, oh, well, I just need better leads, then you're external in your mindset. If you say, I just need to figure out how to convert the leads that I've been given, then you're internal in your mindset. You want another one? How about if I say, well, what else? Tell me what else. Oh man, if I can just have less cultural buyers. I mean, those cultural buyers are so difficult and they want to constantly haggle and they want to kind of constantly beat me up on price. Then if I just had less cultural buyers, then I would be able to sell more. That's external. But if you said instead, if I could just figure out how to get the cultural buyer to stop haggling and to see the value in what we're offering, then that's internal. Or how about one more? What if I said, so again, tell me more, why aren't you saying more? You're like, oh man, if these competitors of ours would just stop discounting their offer, they could stop discounting their product, discounting their service, and then I would do more. Versus internal would be, if I could just figure out a way to handle the discount objection. If I could just figure out a way, what is the skill? What is the mindset, the process, the language? If I could just figure out how to do that, then I'd be able to sell more. See the difference? And so like that's it, right? Like that's a huge secret that we all need to kind of work on, is that we have to own up that we are the problem and that we are the solution. And so right now, just think about the next time that you ask yourself, hey, what is stopping me from doubling my conversion rate, doubling my sales? And the question is it a skill and therefore it's internal, or is it external and something outside of you and you put yourself in this kind of victim type place? So you always want to be the hero or the warrior of your own story. All right, Jason, there's one more blank. And so what drives the beliefs? What is it? What drives the beliefs? What drives the beliefs is the programming. Programming. All right. So programming. So there's two types of programming. So what is programming? So programming just means all of the media. Like, so programming's like, what are you listening to in the news or in social media or like in YouTube videos like this, or your parents or past trainers, past teachers, past coaches, past mentors, the books you read. That's all the programming that you've been kind of subjected to. So right now, if you are on the track of making 9 to 5 money, then your programming says, as a sales professional, it says this, check this out. It says that you don't matter, okay? But if you're making worth it money, it says that you do matter. Wow, like that's the secret. The number one secret that you've got to like own right now, and that's the people that are making worth it money. It's they believe they matter. They believe they make a difference. Think about right now, the last time that you took a person through a sales experience, and I was to say, hey, I'm curious, why did you not sit down with them and go over all the options on paper with them? Why did you not go over line by line? Why did you just kind of give them the proposal and just say, hey, look over it and let me know if you have any questions? And you're gonna say, well, I felt like the customer didn't really want to spend that time with me, but in the end, you don't believe you matter. You don't believe that you can add value to the customer going through that proposal experience, that you can help make it simpler for them, that you can explain it better, that you can create emotional anchors where they feel like they have to have it because you're taking them through this proposal experience. And instead you say, you know what, I don't really matter, I don't really make a difference, and so therefore I'm just gonna let them go through it. Now you might not consciously be saying that, but you're subconsciously saying that. And your subconscious mind is driving your conscious mind, and that conscious mind is your belief systems, which is driving your emotions, which is driving your motivations, which is driving your behaviors, and therefore it's driving your results. So right now, this is it. So if you want to, again, 10x your sales going forward, then you have to live by the results matrix. You have to constantly ask yourself, am I engaging? Do I want to do this? Am I seeking more freedom for myself and for others? Am I taking ownership? Do I believe I'm one skill away through the internal side? And in the end, do I believe that I matter? And if you do, overnight, you'll have an entirely different success story. This right here is one of the many things that we teach in our Warrior Selling program and in our leadership sales coaching program. We teach sales managers how to convince salespeople that they matter. But one more thing, and that is, I think the most important sale that you could ever make in your entire life is to convince yourself that you make a difference, to convince yourself that you matter. All right, until next time, this is Jason Forrest. Go find yourself more sales freedom for yourself and others.